So I went back to the doctor referred her to a consultant, and the consultant did scans, tests, etc. Nothing really came up. But in December 2017 is when they did a biopsy. And the biopsy, some alarm bells are ringing, because the consultant said, if it's all right with you, I'd rather not tell you the results. I thought it's a very odd thing to say.
Yeah.
The results, why are you saying that you're not going to tell us?
Hi, and welcome to this week's episode of Inspired By, with me, your host, Manjeet Nijam. This week, I've got another special person with me, Raj. You may know Raj from Sikh Wills. That's his business that he runs from Leamington Spa, beautiful part of the country. Raj, I followed him on socials for maybe a good 3-4 years, something like that. We've done a bit of business together, and I count him as one of my friends now. So Raj has faced many challenges, being a widower, having young children, running a business at the same time. And now with COVID, there's homeschooling on top of all of that as well. So I'm going to let him do some talking, I think. Raj, how are you?
I'm very, very well, thank you. Very well.
Excellent. So do you know what? Your story is out there, which I know. And I think a lot of people will know that as well. But there may be some people who don't actually know your story. But before we get into that, can you tell us a bit about yourself, like where you grew up, your family, some silly moments maybe? I don't know, whatever you wish to share about your growing up and, where you're from.
Yeah, of course. So I'm born and bred in Leamington Spa, or as I tend to correct people, it's called Royal Leamington Spa.
Which is a beautiful little town. I've been there. Yeah.
It is, yeah. So anyone who's within the M25, it's just everything's up north, for you guys. But yeah, so it's just 30 miles south from Birmingham. I was born, obviously, here, and I've got one sister, mum and dad. So it's a very, very small family. Mm-hmm. And then I've got my chachi, my thai in Leamington. So immediate family, very small. Then we got cousins, etc. Around here. My upbringing isn't like very harsh, or we had no money or anything like very bad. If anything, I had an amazing childhood. I want to say the 90s was my favourite era of the year of my life.
Okay.
Absolutely, the 90s.
Why is that?
Yeah.
Why?
Just growing up, I had no worries, nothing. Mum and dad, obviously, they were out working. Nowadays, you couldn't do that. So my parents are out working, and they left me and my sister to it. Mm-hmm. Do the food, feed yourself, to make sure the Hoover and everything's done by the time I come back. But now you can't do that with kids.
No,
leave them at home. So they pretty much left us to it. And all I wanted to do was play football. That's it. I stayed off the streets. I didn't do any bad things, which I'm sure my mum and dad are very grateful for. But for me, it was all about football. And I look back and I think I just had a really good childhood, compared to other people.
Yeah, and I think that's probably stood you in good stead for some of the challenges you face later on.
Definitely.
So how did you go from being this, this football mad youngster, to meeting your then wife, Nem?
So after my football madness, school, etc., went to university. Yeah. I just wanted to get out of Leamington because it was a very small community. I thought, I'm going to go as far as possible. So I got into Leeds and I got into Manchester. I thought, okay, which one do I go for? I chose Manchester because it's got a better nightlife than Leeds. That's the only reason why I went there.
Yeah.
I made some great friends, who I'm still friends with today. And then I didn't study. Literally, just the freedom got to me. Really got to me. And that's when I started drinking as well. One of my friends said, hey, have a drink. I said, no, I don't drink. Just try this. I don't know if you remember, but you get apple sour, which are 99p. They go, just try this. I tried it, and everything went downhill from there.
Yeah.
And I failed my first year at uni. I went back. They said, okay, you go back in August, resit your 3 exams that you failed, and then you can go on to second year.
Yeah.
I went back to Manchester. I met some of my local friends, and I didn't even do the resit exams.
Wow.
So,
I bet your parents were just like, what is going on with this boy?
Well, they didn't know.
Oh, okay.
I didn't tell them.
Okay.
I just said it was a gap year where I had to work for someone for experience. So I was actually retaking my first year. But the thing is, I didn't get a student loan. I wasn't entitled to one.
Oh, okay.
Because I was only doing 3 modules.
Uh-huh.
Honestly, I look back and I think, how on earth did I get through university my first year without any money? You know, I didn't really ask, my parents for any money, or my sister.
Yeah.
But anyway, yeah, so I went through it, had a great time. Uni life was my second best time of my life. And then Nim and I kept contact with each other like over the summer months.
So you met at university?
We actually met when we were about 16, 17. So she used to work in River Island in Leamington. And I remember walking in, and my cousin worked there as well with her. And I said to my cousin, I said, "Oh, who's that over there?" And I went to the shoe department. She goes, "That's Nim." I said, "She's all right, you know." And she started laughing. She said, "Go chat to her." And so I walked over, like a Joey saying, "How you doing?" And then
confidence and swagger all at once.
Yeah, definitely. And because I was like, I had a haircut then, I had like a slick jawline, slim 6-pack, and everything. But she wouldn't have none of it. And then I went back the next week, and the week after, and then like she said, and then she started opening up a bit, and then she let her guard down. And then she got my number from my cousin, and then we started texting. We hit it off. But then when we were at uni, I started uni, she started uni, and we kind of left it as that. Then we kind of like just kept in touch every summer. Would meet for a coffee and so on. I mean, her parents had no idea. Obviously, my parents had no idea.
Oh, secret romance behind the scenes.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, definitely. Because again, we didn't have none of these social media back then.
Tell me about it.
Yeah. But yeah, so it's then it came to my final year of uni, and I thought, what am I doing? She's such an amazing girl. It's a girl that I can bring back to my parents. So I texted her and I said, "Look, come to Manchester. I need to talk to you. It's very serious." So she got all concerned. She got the next train out, and then she got a cab from the train station to my place. Is everything all right? I said, "Again, what are you saying? Shall we give it a go?" She's like, "What?" Like, you and me. She's like, and she hit me around the head. She said, "I thought somebody had died, or you needed money or something."
Yeah.
Why didn't you tell me straight? I said, "Well, I am like this."
But you know what, though? I'm sorry to interrupt, but no, it actually shows her strength of character. Exactly. That she literally hopped on a train, got a taxi, came straight to you, thinking you needed her because something was going on and you needed her support, and there she was. Yeah.
It's true, and then that is kind of like when we actually got together. And then nobody died, but I needed money because I was a bloody poor student,
Yeah.
And so we got together, and then she helped me graduate. Basically, I didn't study, I didn't want to study, but she goes, "No, come on, you need to at least get a degree." So I got a degree, thankfully for her.
In what? Degree in what did you?
It was some kind of Mickey Mouse IT course or something like that,
And you just did it for the sake of doing it, just to get away from home, really.
Exactly.
Just to get to open up, open your eyes to a different world.
Exactly that. And I even blagged my way through clearing as well for uni, because I didn't get the best grades for A-levels. I look back and I thought, "Oh my God, man, I was a bit of a lapunga. I really didn't do anything,
Yeah.
And so she got me through that time. And then we came back to Leamington. I got a job in some like call centre, just trying to get wherever I could. And then we thought, you know what, we need to tell the parents about this. I told my parents, and my mum was like, I knew it, because you used to whisper at night time on the phone.
Yeah.
And I was like, yeah. And then she's like, "Who is she?" I said, like, this is her, she's a family, she lives in Leamington. She's like, "I think I know the family." And then Nim actually told her grandparents first before her parents, because
easier.
it's to be honest, it's not even that. I think she was more closer to her grandparents.
Okay. Yeah.
And she had a better relationship with them. she's very, very, very close to her granddad, especially.
Yeah, yeah.
He taught her how to do like cook, how to sew, how to do everything.
Oh, that's amazing.
Yeah. And so I met them, and that's it. Then my families got together, and then we got engaged, and then in 2008, we got married.
Yeah, the big fat Indian wedding, no doubt.
Oh yeah. Do you know what?
Or Punjabi wedding, I should say, big fat Punjabi wedding.
Yeah, that's it. I think it's about 600-700 people there. But you just imagine that now. You can have 15 at the moment.
I can't imagine it at all. It's ridiculous. It's like so extreme.
Yeah, I know. And then we got married, and then she got made redundant because she was a solicitor. She got made redundant because it was in 2008, in that recession. And then she fell pregnant, and I said, there's no point in you finding work because people are going to see the bump and you're not going to get, not going to get off the job. And my eldest daughter was born 2009, and then I was just working, and we had more kids, and so on. So we got two girls. Yeah.
Sorry, go on.
I've got two girls and a boy. So
your kids are amazing. I love your kids. I've literally watched them grow up. I think a lot of us have watched them grow up on your social media. So,
they're great on social media, but a pain in the backside in real life. But so Naveen, who's 11, Abani, who now is 7, she's going to be 8 next month, and Biren, he's 5 years old. But again, we had such a great, tight family unit. We made so many memories. We went traveling, we went holidays, us 5 together. And then in 2017, when we sat at the dinner table and she was eating, but she had a lot of pain here. She was like, I'm really struggling to eat. I said, okay, you're going to have some barney, and so on, and just take a breather. And then this happened for a good week or two. I said, you need to make yourself a doctor's appointment. And she was like, no, it should be fine. I said, no, make yourself a doctor's appointment. Doctor checked everything and said, look, acid reflux. Gave her omeprazole for about 3-4 months. But she kept losing weight, and she found it even more hard to eat. And then some of her family members thought she's losing the weight on purpose,
Okay, so mad diet regime,
Yeah, or, bulimia, or whatever you want to call it.
Yeah.
But and then no, so we went back to the doctor. The doctor referred her to a consultant, and the consultant did scans, tests, etc. Nothing really came up. But in December 2017 is when they did a biopsy, and the biopsy, some alarm bells are ringing because the consultant said, "If it's all right with you, I'd rather not tell you the results." I thought it's a very odd thing to say.
Yeah.
The results. Why are you saying that you're not going to tell us? And that's when it was in my head. So we got through Christmas. Then came January 2018, did another biopsy, and that's when they said, look, you've got stomach cancer, your life is cut short, no treatment is ever going to get rid of it.
Oh my goodness.
Yeah.
So how long from initially when she started feeling a bit like I can't swallow, it hurts, to the actual diagnosis was it?
8 months, I'd say.
8 months. That's still a long time. Still a long time of 8 months from acid reflux to then having stomach cancer. 8 months.
It's a hell of a long time. And she literally, obviously, she froze, went to the car, she started crying. And then I went back in and I said to her, I'll be back in a second. She goes, where are you going? I said, I'll be back in a second. Went back into the meeting and I said, Doc, right, you said her life is cut short. How long? And she said, do you really want to know? I said, yeah. So like 18 months, 2 years.
Wow.
Right.
Must have taken the wind out of your sails and then some.
Absolutely. Yeah. And it's a lot for me to actually, it's a big burden on me because I don't want to tell her that. I didn't tell anybody this. And then because she couldn't eat, they couldn't do chemotherapy. So they did operation on her small bowels, put a tube in, so she was getting fed liquid food for 10 hours every night. And every Friday we would get like a batch of liquid food. Yeah. And it was just really, really sad, Yeah,
like, I mean, she must have, like, for herself, to be experiencing all of that and then have a young family to look after as well. And then to be brave in front of you so as not to be a burden on you. It must have been really, really tough on all of you, but more so, for the parent, for the person who's actually going through this, because they don't want to show their family that I'm hurting or I'm suffering, because they want to be brave for everybody else.
Yeah, and it was, I mean, this is how strong and brave she was. It's like we found out on the Thursday that she'd been diagnosed with this. The next day, we had my cousin's wedding down in Gravesend. So we went down, we stayed in the hotel, and then the Saturday was a wedding, and it carried on as normal. Literally dancing away, partying away. But just imagine, what's going on in her mind. Then it was time for the ordeal. We all sat down, and the DJ put the background music on, and Ed Sheeran came on.
Yeah,
because this is a song that we would always like sing to each other. She would think, "Oh, this song reminds me of you." And that came on, and that's when she burst into tears. There's a table of 12 on a round table.
Yeah,
and then my cousin's wife was thinking, "What's going on here?" Took her out. And then I was like, hey, it's fine, it's okay. But then it really got to me. Then I walked out. My cousin followed me. They said, what's wrong? And I said, look, she's just been diagnosed with stomach cancer, and it's terminal. And then, then we told my parents in the car, and then we told her parents. But this is where it got a bit too much for her, because some members of her family were making it about them. Yeah. So she was like, hang on, I'm the one that's going through this. Why are you making it about yourself? And she got so angry, really, really angry. I said, look, forget it. Just forget it. But yeah, and then, they said, okay, what we need to do, your liver's blocked. We need to unblock it, and then we can start some treatment. Simple procedure. It went wrong. All the bile, all the poison, went into the body, and I've never seen in so much pain in my life. Really, really, really bad. Yeah. And that's when it went downhill from there. There was no focus on the cancer; it was all on her liver. And at one point, we got a transfer. She was at Nottingham Hospital for about 3 months. Transferred her because they couldn't do anything. Transferred her closer to home. And that's when the senior consultant checked the notes and said, "You realise you've only got about a year left to live." I was like, "Oh my God," And even she was like a bit shocked, and she's like, "Okay, all right." She didn't cry. Yeah, like, that's fine. Yeah, that was the first time she heard it. Yeah, and literally couldn't do anything. Then they said, we're going to try radiotherapy. If it doesn't work, then she's got about 6 weeks left. And that is when I told my kids. So
that I can't imagine having to sit down any child, no matter how old they are, and yours are exceptionally young, to say, look, mommy's not going to be here anymore.
Yeah, so at that time, my Naveen was 8, Avani was 5, and Viren was 2. So he was just turning 3.
Maybe, yeah. He
was just turning 3. So all he could see that mummy's not well, hospital visits, And then when it was his 3rd birthday in May, everyone was there, all the family came round. But I just looked in the corner, I could see Nim's face. Like she wasn't smiling or anything. But she knew, right, this is my last birthday with him.
Yeah.
Yeah, and for all my kids, I'm not going to be here for long. Yeah. So that was tough. That was tough. The kids were Ian was going up to her, hugging her. But what she did, she detached herself from all the children. Yeah. And then, like, Nim's mum was saying, come on, Nim, hug them back. And she couldn't understand. I completely understood what she was doing. She goes, I'm going to leave my kids behind, And so maybe this is the best thing for me to have that bit of a distance.
Yeah.
So we don't know because we've never been through that. Yeah. And,
but she had to do what was best for her as well, and what she thought was best. It doesn't matter what anybody else thought, whether you, me, or whoever. It's her decision. Yeah. What she thinks is best for her and her children.
Exactly. So no one had any right to say anything or judge her. No one had any right to judge her. So, but and then radiotherapy worked a little bit, but it just got worse and worse. And that's when the doctor said, "Look, we can't do anything. We're going to send you home, but we recommend going to a hospice." But
so we were like, 10 time to die, basically.
Yeah, and the doctor
said brutally honest. So
yeah, the doctor said that. Doctor said, you do realise you're going home to die, and I think that's when it hit home for Nim's mum that it is, and all I remember is I came home, I packed all the bags, I went in the car, they came in the ambulance, and just her pulling in. And I said to her siblings, I said, look, this is a situation, do not cry. If you want to, go out the room, do it out of the way. And Nim was so stubborn and adamant because she was lying on we had like a big corner sofa. And we said, look, you're finding it hard to go to the toilet, and we need a commode, and we need a hospital bed. She goes, no, not having a hospital bed. But it was for her own interest. So when she walked in, she saw the hospital bed and she like rolled her eyes up. But it's what she needed, you know. It's what she needed. But you know, again, nurses coming home twice a day for antibiotics, morphine. It was a very, very tough time for everyone. Emotions everywhere. Then she started losing a bit of her memory. Then she was slurring her words. That is when you know, right, it's not looking good. So I had another conversation with the kids. Saying, look, Mummy's not well. She will probably go to Babaji in the sky. And that is when, the Naveen especially started crying.
Oh.
Yeah.
I mean, I can't even put into words the emotions I'm feeling just listening to, and you know, and obviously I've heard it before and so on, but each time I even read about it, it just takes my breath away. It literally just takes my breath away for her to be as strong as she was all the way through to the end. You know, and for you then to have to like say to your children, this is what's going to happen to Mummy, knowing then once her light has passed into, you know, back into the universe, that it's all on your shoulders. You can't then turn to that person anymore who you've turned to when you've had a hard day at work, or one of the kids is playing up, or, you know, say, oh, you know what, can you take over while I just quickly have a cup of tea or put my feet up? You know, that person's not there anymore. No,
and that was, you know, and I'd thought about all of this because for me, I'm optimistic, but I'm realistic as well.
Yeah.
So just by looking at her, how she deteriorated and what the doctor was saying, I thought she's going to go at some point. Whereas other members of the family, they were clinging on to hope.
In denial.
Don't cling on to hope, you know, because hope is going to bring you pain. She goes, no, we need to. I said, no, come on, look what the doctor's saying. Look at her, you know. And but again, you know, then her breathing went like shallow and shallow. Then it was on the 19th of September, 11:30 at night. And then all we heard was, oh, Nim's breathing. And she took like three breaths like that. And that's it. She went. Literally went. And again, I've spoken about this. What should have been a very, very peaceful time, you know, for someone passing away was a very, very traumatic time. Very traumatic. So all I remember is just me coming out of my body. I'm in the corner of the room at the top. I'm looking down. I think, what is going on? Why is somebody in the corner like wailing, screaming? That one person that, you know, putting her body on the floor trying to do CPR. So it shouldn't be like that, you know?
No, she's gone.
She is gone. Yeah, she's gone. And so even if he did CPR and she came back, then what? What are you going to do? You know? That's a memory which I'll never, ever, ever be able to get rid of. You know, so, you know, what should have been, just my wife going very peacefully, you know, into a better place wherever or whatever that might be, to that time, which, you know, it's very hurtful.
Yeah.
And upsetting. Yeah.
Yeah. I mean, so you've, you know, so, you know, your partner in crime, so to speak, has now left. You know, she's no longer there. Now you're a widower. And I know in the Punjab, I'm not going to say Sikh community, I'll say Punjabi community because it's slightly different. I don't like the culture and the faith being mixed together. Yeah. So in the Punjabi community, you know, when somebody passes, it's all of a sudden the floodgates are open and people just turn up and they're coming to show their respects, but actually you end up looking after them instead of taking care of yourself and what's going on around you.
Tell me about it, because I'm a very, very strong person. I've been doing mental toughness for a number of years. And what we said was, because my parents live one street behind me, and we said we're going to have the absource in mum and dad's house.
Yes.
And it's funny how all this happened as well. Even like with Nim's parents' house, granddad's house, which is, you know, 3 miles up the road. nobody was doing the source there. Everyone was coming to our house. So it was like every day, or her family were coming to mum and dad. So we had like one big headquarters of, doing the source.
Yeah.
So we have it there because the kids need that space. So at least they can be at home. And when I would go over.
So just very quickly, sorry to interrupt you. For those of you who don't know what absource is, non-Punjabis watching us, absource is when somebody passes away and people come to your house to come and pay their respects, and you talk about the person who's passed and so on. So that's what absource means. So sorry, Raj, I interrupted you. Carry on.
Yeah. No, and I thought the kids need their own space. So, but when I would go to my mum and dad's house, I would walk in and I would get some old auntie coming, hugging me, wailing, and I'd be like consoling them, saying it's okay, it's all right, And then I remember somebody quite senior, because I was sat in the men's room in that room, and all the ladies in that room. Yeah. And then he was sat in our room, and people were saying, what happened and everything. I was explaining it. Then he went into the ladies' room, and then listening to the discussion there. And afterwards, he pulled my mum and myself to the side. He goes, look, pointing at me, saying, the way you're handling this is completely different to the way your mum's handling it. And he was quite a religious, religious figure. And he goes, look, Benji, you do all this part. Mum was very religious, do all this part. And the way you're handling it is to somebody who doesn't do hardly any part. And I said, yes, that's right. It's all about mentality. It's all about accepting death. I accepted it many, many, many years ago. But yes, I'll still get people crying, wailing, and I'm like, it's fine, it's okay. Yeah. And the people saying, oh, such a short life, what a waste of a life. I'm like, no, it wasn't.
She did a lot in her life, though.
Exactly.
She did a hell of a lot, because she set up the charity and all sorts of stuff she did. Yeah, so it was not a wasted life in any way, shape or form.
Yeah, and I remember when she first set up a hair and makeup business, she goes, I don't want to do it. I said, why? She goes, well, my parents won't like it because, they put all this money for my legal education. I said, don't worry. I said, you're married now. So I said, don't worry. Yeah. And she loved it. She would work long hours, hair, makeup, mehndi. It was a passion.
She was good. She was really good at it, because her book was full of
appointments. She was booked when she was in hospital. She was booked up until 2 years in advance. Yeah. Up to 2020. Then last year went in 2018, and that was when she was upset and she cried. Is when she realised she couldn't do hair and makeup. She didn't cry when she was told her life was going to end or she had an X amount of time. It was when she was told she couldn't do hair and makeup.
Yeah, she couldn't do what she loved anymore.
Yeah. That's it. That's it. Yeah. But spot on about other people, making it about them, and they were upset. But I'm like, yeah.
But you've got through that. The funeral must have been awful, harrowing, not because of you and the way you were handling, but again, because of the crying and the wailing that was more than likely going on. I
told everyone, saying, none of this, no crying, wailing. And again, you get this, the older ladies, the old auntie, which, they do that. Right? And I'm like, come on, man, that's not fair. It's being selfish now.
Yeah, you've got the little children there, for heaven's sake.
But sometimes you think it's a bit of an act, it's a bit drama. It is acting, because I find one, you hardly knew him, so why are you doing this, But it was a very, very long funeral. In terms of the fact that I was holding Via and he did not want to let go. So we had the coffin there, and then was in there, all the kids. And I was looking at the line. The line was not ending. And a couple of people said there's probably about 13, 14, 1,500 people there.
Wow.
Yeah. So, and some non-Asian said, look, there's never ever been a big funeral like this in Leamington before. So it was very long, and then literally Viren didn't want to go to anyone else. So I was just holding him. Then we went to the crematorium. I gave a eulogy, which is actually on YouTube. Just talking about her life.
I watched it. It is amazing.
Okay. Thank you. But then we walked over to the coffin, and again, I blocked everybody out. I just think, I just imagine it was just me and Viren. I was talking to him. I said, look, we're going to put a hand on the coffin and on the box, and that's it. We're going to go. So he let him down, and he kissed the coffin, and then and then all I could hear was like, like women in the in the crematorium just crying. And I thought, oh, there's people here. When you switch on, press the button, and that's it.
Yeah.
But and then
that in itself, I mean, pressing that button, it's not easy.
That's saying that it's the final goodbye.
Yeah.
It's the final goodbye. Yeah, for everyone around, you press the button, the curtain's closed, that's the final goodbye now. But for immediate family members, you can actually go back.
I know.
You go back, and then it was me and immediate family, and Nim's mum, she was like wailing, saying, "No, Nim, come back," and so on. And then he pressed the button, you could see just the coffin just burning.
Yeah.
I sat in the car, in the limousine, going back to the goodbye, and Vera was like, "Oh, Mummy went in the fire." I was like, "Eh? What do you mean Mummy went in the fire?" And that's when I thought, I was holding on to Vera.
Oh, wow.
He saw everything. And I thought,
God.
Yeah. And because he wouldn't let go. And for all I remember was that he kissed the coffin, and then that's it, he went. And then I went round the back. But when he said Mummy went in the fire, I thought, oh, no, what? He actually had him.
Yeah. How did you explain that then? What did you, how can you explain that?
I actually can't remember what I said because I didn't want to lie to him, because he saw everything.
Yeah.
He knew his mummy was in the coffin, because when she came home, it was just me and the kids. So they said wrote their notes, and said their final goodbye. So plainly, he knew she was in there. And then when he saw the same coffin going in the fire, I'm like, I must have tried to change the subject.
Yeah.
And then he told Naveen, who's nine at the time. And then Naveen got upset. He goes, "What do you mean Mummy was in the fire? What do you mean?" And quite a few people, not quite a few, a handful of people said, "Don't take the kids. Don't let take the kids to the funeral." I said, "No. You know what? It's they need to go."
It's their mom. They needed to say their own goodbyes.
Yeah, they need to go. They need to say goodbye. And that's when she was crying at night. And when I went to put her to bed, she couldn't sleep. And I thought, oh my God, have I done the right thing by letting them go? Next morning, wake up, she was happy as Larry, right as rain. It was like nothing had affected her. I thought, right, I made a good decision.
Yeah.
Made a good decision.
So we can fast forward.
Yeah.
Obviously, then you had to bring the kids up yourself.
Yeah.
That took a lot of adjusting to do.
Yeah.
Yeah. School runs.
Absolutely. Everything. Homework, school runs, cooking,
And you're a father to 3 children, 2 of whom are girls. So all the emotional stuff with the young girls that goes on as well.
Oh, yeah. Tell me about it.
So there's dealing with a little one, a really little one, and then the slightly older ones, and the different age groups, and they're, children growing up you love them. They give you so much joy, but they can also be a pain in the backside, as we all know. But we've all been there. We've all been children. They'll tell you, I love you to bits, but you were a pain when you were growing up, kind of thing.
Oh, yeah. I can't wait for that. I can't wait until they have kids.
Yeah, that's what, every parent says that. Every parent says that. Wait till you have children of your own, then you'll know what we
wait till you have children, and when I look after them, I'm going to give them lots of sweets before bed.
Do you know what? My dad, we love him to bits, and he was really strict with us.
Yeah.
And we weren't allowed to turn the TV channels over, nothing. But his grandchildren,
yes,
they'll sit in his chair, who we still don't sit in his chair, right, when he's in the house.
Yeah.
Sit in his chair, and they want to turn it over. He'll just hand them the remote control. And we're like, Dad, come on. And he's like, going on now. That basically means they're children. It's fine. Let them get on with it.
Yeah.
So, it does all change when you're grandparent. It literally changes. So,
definitely does.
So you've taken them from, where they were. What about Sikh Wills? How did Sikh Wills keep functioning during all this time?
So we set up our first will writing company because obviously she got made redundant and she was pregnant, and we obviously we needed income. I wasn't on a high income back then, about 12.5 grand a year or something. So, and then she set up her hair and makeup, but again, that was just a little side, hadn't really kicked off. And then she worked for a will writing company, self-employed. So then we set our own up on the side, still working alongside them. And then 4 years later, I was at the gym and I thought, I had a brainwave. I thought, Sikh Wills. Went there, researched, no other company out there. So I set that up. So in that time when she was in hospital, I was maybe doing 1 meeting a month, maybe 2 meetings a month. Mentally, I just couldn't do it.
Yeah.
After she passed away, I tried to get back to work 3 months after. Yeah. People saying, "What are you playing at? You're not ready to get back." I say, "I'm fine," because again, me thinking I'm mentally strong. But yeah, they're all right. I just couldn't concentrate, couldn't do anything. So whilst all this was going on, January 2019, I thought, right, let's do this now. You've had your time off, feeling sorry for yourself. Right, January the 1st, you're gonna do this now. And it just went like that. Work sequels just went like that. Some people said, "Did you set up sequels after an impasse?" I said, "No, I've been doing writing for, like 11, 12, 13 years.
Yeah.
So, but no, so people realised it's a wake-up call. So the life insurance went through the roof, for people wanting that, because Nim was only 34 when she passed away. Will writing, powers of attorney, even funeral plans, which Punjabis, Sikhs, Indians would have planned their funeral, paid for their funeral before.
Exactly.
It was unheard of, but now a lot of people do it.
And I think a lot of that is actually down to you, in a sense. Okay, I know you're quite humble. You're a humble person about these sort of things, but you're appearing on the local Sky channels, talking about this, talking about it in Punjabi, making people aware of the do's and don'ts, and especially why it's important to have a will. Why it's to stop all this family wrangling and stuff, but also that you can make the decision about what happens with your estate afterwards. And everything you highlight it, and because also I think because the language as well, so for the older generation it's easier to have that conversation with somebody without having a translator, where things can get lost in translation.
It's exactly that. And somebody called me and said, "How much you charge for a will?" I told them the price. They said, "Oh, we've got somebody in down in the high street firm that is £30 cheaper." I said, "Go with them."
Yeah, exactly.
I said, "Go with them." You can't do anything with the price. I said, "No," because I'm in Leamington, you're in West London, so round trip is going to take me 3 hours. And they said, "Okay." A couple of weeks later, they called me and said, "Okay, can you come and visit us?" I said, "What happened?" So I took my mum down to see them. 1, my mum doesn't speak Punjabi. 2, I was going to have to sit in the room. 3, I had to pay for a translator, which was £299. That's all people, aren't I? She goes, "All right."
Yeah, exactly. I mean, I don't make any bones about it. You came to our house and helped to sort out our estate for when we're no longer here, and other family members as well. So, and I know the service that you provide is really professional, and you're honest about the whole estate business. You're just honest about everything, and that's one of the things I love about you, is the fact that you do talk real talk. It's not just flannel.
It's not even about the estate side of things. It's about death.
Yeah.
So some people get so uncomfortable when I talk about the funeral side of things. I said, "Okay, so 1, how do you want your funeral? What do you do with the ashes?" And they kind of like shy away. And I've had one person, like one uncle, he's had to walk out the room. I said to the kids after, I said, "Is your dad all right?" He goes, "Yeah." He just makes him uncomfortable. And with me, I don't beat around the bush. I'm not going to walk on eggshells. I'm going to say, "Look, this is what's happened to me. My wife was only 34. This is fact. We are all going to go one day. The reason why I'm here is to help make things easier for you when your parents aren't here." And we put it down in black and white so you guys don't argue.
Absolutely.
So if you put it like that, fair enough.
Yeah, it is. So we've got Sikh Wills is doing really well, and long may it continue. Fast forward a bit more. There's been some really amazing developments. Okay.
Like what?
Like what? I think I'll leave that. No, some young ladies come into your life, shall we say?
Young. Well, I call her young.
Yes, she is. She's younger than me. I'm 53, so she's younger than me. So she's a young lady.
She's younger than you, but she's a little bit older than me.
Doesn't matter age.
It doesn't matter. But you know what? I tease her about that. So, yeah.
So tell us about your blended Sikh family, as you call it.
Yeah. So she contacted me. She said, "Look, I've seen your story. I'm a divorcee. I've got 3 young kids. I need to put my affairs in order." I thought, that's fine. And then we met. And when we met, we hit it off straight away.
Yeah.
We had so much in common. we were actually sat talking for about 4 hours, and we didn't even talk about wills or estate planning or anything like that. And then we left, and then we contacted each other after. We said, no, we didn't even talk about the will. And then we just kept in contact that way. Just talking about kids, family, you know, what she'd been through, what I'd been through. But the reason she always talks about this, because I think I put a post up on social media saying, look, I'm going to take the kids on holiday. One of them need to go, you know, to the toilet. Do I just leave 2 of them behind, or do I take one of them, or do I take all 3? Because, and that really got to her. She goes, look, if you ever need somebody to go on holiday with the kid, you know, I'm there for you.
Oh, wow.
Yeah. And again, we never met. This is just on social media. This is why I love Instagram so much, you know. It's there's so much love on there. Because I remember going to a restaurant, takeaway, Chinese buffet, and one of the kids needed to get for the toilet. I said, right, girls, stand outside the toilet. Viren, come with me because he needs to go. And all I'm saying, girls, can you hear me? Can you hear me? Can you hear me? Yes. Can you hear me? Yes. They're all right. They were still there.
Yeah.
And I thought, this is my life, you know.
Yeah.
This is my life, and that got to her. But again, we weren't together. We weren't an item. So when people say, "How long have you two been together?" The answer is we don't know, because there wasn't a specific day. We thought, you know, on this day we are a couple, or you know, we're together. Everything's just transitioned. Yeah. You know, and then she moved to Leamington, so we're all living together. Some people might think, let me know, you know, this is fast, this is rushed. Not at all. Absolutely not at all, man.
Do you know what? If I can just interrupt you, somebody out there will always have an opinion. Yeah. People will always have an opinion, whether you've waited too long or you didn't wait long enough, or your children, you didn't put them first, you're putting your own happiness first, this, that, and the other. Yeah. Do you know, at the end of the day, you're both adults. You know what you've both been through. Yeah. You know your children better than anybody else. Yes. Right? Let's say if I was related to you in some way, shape or form, okay? But doesn't mean to say I know your children the way that you know them. You live with them day in, day out. She lives with her children day in, day out. So this isn't something that you're going to do lightly. This would have been something you've thought about, you know?
We thought about it really hard, because it's not like 2 single people coming together. You know? We've got 3 kids each, you know, and she was told, you got 3 girls, no one's going to marry you, no one's going to be with you. Yeah. But now look at where we are, you know, we're all living together, and all of our kids get on so well.
I think
really, really well.
Like I said to you, you know, you guys make my heart sing. You really, really do. That's just, whenever I see the 2 of you on socials, and you know, think about the little notes that the kids do every day as well. Yeah. No, I mean, if you guys are not following Raj, then you need to follow him on Instagram. What's your Instagram handle, Raj?
So mine is Singspirational.
And your missus?
Parminder __ 81.
I was going to see if you remembered it or not, because I know it.
Yes.
Follow these guys, seriously. There's so much fun there, so much love there, and there's real raw honesty as well. So it's not like, oh look, we're one big happy family, we laugh and joke all the time, but there's also other things that are covered off as well. The realness of life, the realness of 2 individuals with children coming together, and how they're working things out as they're going along. So make sure you know, go to Instagram and follow them. So Raj, you know what? You are an inspiration. You really, really are. And I've said that to you, I don't know how many times.
Yeah, thank you.
I do find you really inspirational. You've helped me without knowing it, you know, take my will out the way completely, but as an individual, you've helped me, you know, and I know you continue to help so many other people. Like I said, your posts are real. They're not fake. You show both sides. And you show the balance in between. I think that's what it is. You show a balanced view of life is what you're showing. Yeah. Is that your aim?
Yeah, because there's so many people out there that just show all the positive side of things. And that can turn out to be fake, you know? So you need to show like the other side of things, like the lows and the downs. And this is why I put up that post, you know, about somebody saying that my kids are very unhappy with our blended family, with our setup. Yeah. You know, they don't want to be here. And that's why I put that post. I was saying, look, not to focus on that person. This is, oh my God, feel sorry for me. This is what that person's saying. the reason I put that up is that, yes, we have a laugh, we're great as a family, but this is also the other BS that we have to deal with. Pink Love do put that article up. I didn't tell them to put anything up. They did it themselves because they were so happy with my situation with Palm and the kids. But that I got trolled really badly on that, on Facebook, really badly. And but this is what we have to deal with. But you know what? It doesn't get me down.
Yeah,
I've been through a lot worse than that. I guarantee if they were in front of me, they wouldn't say anything on my face.
That's just it. I mean, the way I look at things is, everybody's entitled to their opinion, and that's absolutely fine. Everybody's entitled to their perspective, and that's absolutely fine. You have your perspective, and you stick to that.
Yeah.
You guys are doing amazing things together, so it doesn't really matter.
Yeah, we've got a lot more things, that we've got planned that we want to do, but our main
anything you can let us in the secret in on?
Not yet.
Okay, fair enough.
Maybe towards the end.
Okay.
But our aim is, and I've always, because I've been open and honest about what I've been through about Neem's death. I've written a few articles and it has helped people. So I strongly believe my purpose on this earth is to give back and help as many people as I can. And it is working because I get messages daily, saying, oh, my husband's passed away, or he's got cancer, my dad got this, my mum's got that. What do I do? Help me. And I'm like, yeah, of course, and our Palm's getting that as well.
Yeah.
And divorcee, saying, there is life after being divorced. Look at our situation.
I've been there myself.
Yeah, exactly.
There is life after divorce in the Punjabi community.
Yes, definitely. There is. There is always life after every setback.
Absolutely.
If you want it, you can get there.
I think we can also look at things as setbacks, right? So you could say divorce is a setback. Back then, I would have looked at my divorce as a setback. But actually, if it hadn't have happened, I would not be sitting here doing what I'm doing, talking to you about your life.
Definitely. Absolutely.
The universe is making room for something bigger and better. That's the way I look at it. Anytime we have any challenge, it's because the universe is saying, breathe, let it out, because I need to bring some other stuff into your life.
Yeah, and it's even with like lockdown last year. People say it's such a bad year. I look back and I think, for me, I was in a dark place. I wasn't motivated, energy or nothing. And I look back and I think, do you know what? It's actually a good year because not only did I grow through that time mentally, it's really set me up for all of this. So I think how you make of it.
Yeah, and I agree with you, because for me, lockdown initially, I found the first 2 weeks really, really hard. I have to admit, I was not comfortable with it at all. And I made it quite clear, and I've been open about it. Menopause, right? My menopause symptoms just went from here to there in literally in a couple of weeks. I was losing the plot. And that's when I discovered Juggy, and I know you, Juggy, as well. I know you know Juggy as well, Indian body coach. And since then, it's helped me to gain clarity, and I'm sitting here talking sense. At least I think I am here talking sense, having these conversations because of lockdown. It helped me to deal with my menopause, and menopause impacts you mentally. I know you are a huge advocate for mental health.
Yes. Yeah, male mental health and just mental health in general. But the fact that you're talking about menopause, it's like a taboo subject within our culture. Death, blended families, divorce, everything, all these are, mental health is massively taboo. And this is why we are breaking down barriers for other people out there. Get them open and talk about it. I mean, Palm got a message the other day saying, look, we're happily married, the person message there, we've got kids, not divorced or not widowed or anything, but it's really opened our eyes, because what if one of us was to, pass away? She was saying, if I die, I want you to find someone who would make you happy and the kids. We've never had this conversation, but this is why we're doing these videos, these interviews, social media, to break these barriers, to get people to openly talk about these kind of things.
And long may it continue.
Yeah, definitely.
So what is next for you guys then? Come on. What's next?
Well, firstly, we need a bigger house. Yeah, because
Yeah.
the house that I lived in is that Palm said, look, I'm not going to move in there with my kids because that's yours and Nim's house.
It's
Kids have got
understandable.
memories of Nim.
Mm.
Yeah, in there. I don't want to upset anyone. That's fair enough.
Mm-hmm.
So we moved into another house. Basically, so it's 8 of us living in a 3-bed. Yeah. So the kids have got two kids in each room.
Yeah.
Me and Palmer downstairs.
Mm.
It's working out okay. But
Mm-hmm.
we need a bigger house. So that's definitely next. We're going to carry on doing what we're doing on social media.
Mm-hmm.
And legacy wise, so
Yeah.
we obviously still want to carry on Nim's legacy.
Yes.
Yeah, definitely 100% going to do that. That's, again, Palm's not here to take over as Nim's position or as a mum or anything. And she'd always ask the kids about, what was your mummy like? Tell me about her. And she was asking me.
Mm-hmm.
So I'm definitely going to carry on her legacy.
Mm-hmm.
So I've got something it's in the very early stages.
That's fine. You can come back and tell me another time what it actually is.
Yeah.
When you've got
Once
it all
it's
sorted.
there, then I can show you. I say, look, this is what it is.
Fantastic. I look forward to that day.
Yeah. So it's definitely, but for the kids, definitely.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah. Well, I mean, Nim's legacy are those 3, aren't they? Aren't they? So that's her legacy right there. Anything else on top of that is a bonus.
Yeah.
So,
And again, like I mentioned earlier, I want them to see their mummy as someone who gives them strength and it makes them proud, rather than look at a photo and go down and upset and depressed.
So let me ask you a question then.
Yeah.
So let's say whatever point in your life, we're all going to go one day, right? Your light passes into the universe and you're looking down and I'm having a conversation or somebody's having a conversation about Raj. How do you want to be remembered? How do you want to be remembered?
So I want to be remembered as someone who's beaten all the odds against him, someone who never ever gave up.
Mm-hmm.
So, like RST. So RST, this is something I made up, a few months ago.
Mm-hmm.
So RST. So at some point, everyone will be going, will hit rock bottom. So R for rock bottom.
Mm-hmm.
It's up to you to make sure when you fall down at the bottom of the sea, at rock bottom of the sea, you're looking up. So you can swim up and you rise to the sea level. So that's the S.
Mm-hmm.
Rock bottom, S. And then you make sure you do whatever it takes to go to climb at that top of that mountain.
Oh, wow.
The T. Yeah, something that I made up. All these, people got these things. And I thought, let me see for my life. Yeah, I hit rock bottom. Yeah. I didn't give up. I swam up. And now I'm not at the top of the mountain. No, I may never reach there. But I feel I'm on the mountain.
You are definitely on the mountain. But don't think we all have different mountains. You'll get to the top of one mountain and then there'll be another one to climb, and then another one and another one.
Exactly. But, and it is important to look back, look down and think, I was once in that seat, right at the bottom. And now look. So this is what I want people to, and like you mentioned, I've inspired you. I've inspired people on Instagram. But I want people to think, do you know what? If he can get through that, then I can get through my situation.
Absolutely.
Yeah, definitely. That's all I want, is people to never, ever, ever give up. Never give up.
Raj, thank you so much for sharing some really funny stories, as well as, the challenges that you faced, and challenges is the ones that they make us stronger. Yeah. They give us that progression that we need in life. Yeah. So thank you for sharing all areas of your life, where you were, where you've been, where you're going, and the happiness, again, which you guys have now got as a blended Sikh family. Yeah. I wish you all the best, and you've inspired me. Yeah. So thank you very much for coming on. I really appreciate it.
No, anytime, mate. Anytime, Manjeet, great friend. And just keep doing what you're doing, because it is really helping people out there.
Oh, thank you. Thank you, everybody, for watching. And this week, you've been inspired by Raj from Sikh Wills, Raj Rainu. I think I got that right. Thank you all for watching. Remember to like and subscribe. And please do share this, because there may be this one person who needs to hear Raj's story in order to move on with their lives. And I'll see you next time.